What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and a lot of big news coming out of Congress on a new stimulus bill. They want to take two separate bills, provisions for stimulus, combine them together in one big bill, and then they want to pass it through Congress through the traditional means with bipartisan support, Republicans and Democrats getting on board. I'm going to give you the latest details, headlines coming out, and we've got some video footage with all of the strategy that's going to be involved. This is your stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and breaking news update. Now, take a look at the headlines coming out, you guys. Biden's $33 billion Ukrainian aid request hits a snag over pandemic funding in Congress. And these are the two bills. They want $10 billion in additional funding for stimulus provisions to help battle the pandemic, including therapeutics and vaccines. And we're hearing this would be the first phase of more to come. We've been hearing calls for more stimulus for businesses, requests for direct assistance to help out people. They send these out in phases. They're saying this would be the first. Now, they believed they had bipartisan support for this. There was talks and agreements, but when it came to legislation, it got paused because the support wasn't there. However, we're hearing that Ukrainian aid. President Biden has requested $33 billion in additional aid to help out Ukraine. That has bipartisan support. So Democrats' new strategy is to take these two bills, put them together, and pass them through as one. Take a look, there has been issues. Biden requested an additional $33 billion in aid for Ukraine, but Congress has disagreed on pandemic funding, and here is the new strategy. Pelosi endorses a strategy to combine Ukrainian aid and pandemic funding, putting these two together, trying to pass them through with Republican and Democratic support. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the video footage breaking down the strategy, as they're saying everybody agrees at this time that more Ukrainian aid is needed, everyone in Congress, and maybe they can get them on board if they pass through this funding as well. Since they said they were so close to having an agreement on that, maybe putting the two together will make it happen. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the video footage from Pramila Jayapal, head of the Progressive Caucus in the House of Representatives. She's going to be giving us the details of pushing this through. Now, also wanted to mention the second channel, Steve Ram Finance. More content is on that channel. And if you haven't checked it out and you'd like to learn about personal finance and investing, you might want to check it out. I've had a lot of requests for the most recent video, which is on cryptocurrency and when is the prices going to spike up again, and how high exactly are they going to be going? Well, I give you all the details on the crypto cycle, what we can expect to see, which ones I believe are some of the strongest picks that will be here several years down the road. I give all the details for those of you interested in potentially investing in crypto, maybe getting started, you want to test the waters. Check out that video, just uploaded it last week. And also, you guys, let's dive into the latest on economic news for those of you interested. But before we do, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. Don't forget, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps out the channel a ton. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content, helps me out. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments. Share this out if you think it could help out other people. If this is your first time here and you'd like to stay up to date, totally free, why not? Come join the Ram fam. I'll keep you up to speed on everything. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. If you got any specific questions for me, hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. And with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so we're going to be taking a look at the video footage here in just a second, but first, take a look at this article. Link in the description below if you'd like to read it. Just came out Friday of last week that Pelosi endorses combining the bills. Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Friday last week endorsed the idea of combining the two Democratic top legislative priorities, aid to Ukraine and new funding pandemic relief, into one package next month, the month of May, citing the urgency to move swiftly on both. The strategy is being considered by Senate Democratic leaders who see the popular Ukrainian assistance as a sweetener for more controversial healthcare funding, which Republicans have threatened to block amid the partisan fights over President Biden's pandemic policies at the southern border. Now, jumping down, Pelosi on Friday emphasized that the negotiations are currently centered in the Senate, not the House. But she also made clear that she'd prefer to have the two funding bills packaged together for reasons of expediency. And she said, "I'm all for that. I think it's very important. We have emergencies here. We need to have pandemic money, and time is of the essence because we need the Ukraine money. So I would hope that we could do that." This is called legislating, she continued, and we'll have to come to terms on how we're going to be doing that. Now, Biden on Thursday asked Congress to authorize an additional $33 billion to help Ukraine fend off attacks from Russia, which was warmly received by members of Congress. Now, the pandemic funding is much more contentious. The White House had initially asked for $22.5 in additional pandemic funds. It was whittled down to $10 billion, and we believed that there was an agreement. There was a verbal agreement, but when it came to putting together legislation, that's where there was issues, and now that is why they're trying to combine them. Now, let's get a little bit more detail on the strategy from Pramila Jayapal of combining these two bills and passing more stimulus.
And joining us now to discuss all of it is the House's top progressive Congresswoman, Pramila Jayapal, from the great state of Washington. Congresswoman Jayapal, thank you for being here. I want to start with Ukraine, if I can. You heard the president. He told reporters he doesn't really care how Congress gets the funding done on both of these issues, Ukraine and COVID. He just wants it done right away. Should Senator Schumer link the two bills in the Senate, knowing the Republicans are likely to try to block both, to balk at it if the votes are connected?
Well, first of all, it's great to see you and great to be with you. I think the important thing here is we do need to do both of them. Whatever games Republicans are going to play, I do feel like they're less likely to play them if the two are linked, because, as you know, we've been trying to get COVID aid for some time, and Republicans have been stopping us from making sure that Americans across this country can get their tests and their vaccines and everything that they need. That money has run out. And unfortunately, Republicans have been blocking us from providing the additional COVID aid, which is why I think it probably makes sense to link them so that it is clear to everybody that both Ukraine and COVID aid need to be done. But obviously, that's up to Majority Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. We'll see what it looks like, but that's been our advice to the Speaker. Keep them linked, because otherwise we're afraid that Republicans will once again stop Americans from getting the aid they need for their health care.
So devil's advocate here, Congresswoman, why not separate these bills, knowing that Ukraine obviously has bipartisan support on its own? Time is of the essence, as we witness again today. Ukraine has the potential to suffer the most if this drags out. Why not just get on that immediately?
Well, again, because Republicans have blocked COVID aid before, and so both of them are urgent. We urgently need to provide this aid to Ukraine, and the money has run out for vaccines and testings for Americans here at home. So that's why we need to make sure we do both of them urgently, and whatever way we can get them both done quickly. This is a negotiation that usually happens between the majority leader, the speaker, and the minority leader. So let's see what happens here. But we're ready.
Fair.
Democrats are ready to vote both those through right away. It's the Republicans that have been the problem.
So one of the issues that's been a sticking point that Republicans have been focused on right now is this fight over Title 42 and the COVID package. I know that you want to see Title 42 end, but if extending Title 42 or taking it out, Title 42 being the border restriction that requires those who come into the U.S. to be expelled immediately, if it is to stick around like this, to stick for a bit, obviously, one of the real challenges is this is the only way you get the funding passed for it is via Title 42. Can you swallow a vote on that, or just wait? Would that be okay for your caucus?
No, unfortunately, we can't because Title 42 is, really it was outrageous that it was put in place to start with. And it has led to the disorderly process that we see with thousands of people being expelled into Mexico. The Republicans can't have it both ways. They're saying that we don't need more COVID aid because there isn't a health emergency. And at the same time, they want to keep Title 42 in place, which is a public health law that the CDC has said we should lift. So honestly, I got to tell you, I'm an immigrant, and I am tired of the way that Republicans have scapegoated immigrants and continue to do that. Title 42 has nothing to do with keeping our border safe. What we really need to do is pass comprehensive immigration reform. And so the CPC, along with the CHC, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, and the Congressional Progressive Caucus, have both said that we will not support legislation that includes a reinstatement of Title 42. It's just scapegoating immigrants, and it does nothing to protect us on health or on border security. So that is not going to be, that's going to be a non-starter.
Let me ask you about another topic where the president made headlines yesterday. He said of student loan forgiveness the following. Take a listen. Here it is.
I am considering dealing with some debt reduction. I am not considering $50,000 debt reduction, but I'm in the process of taking a hard look at whether or not there will be additional debt forgiveness, and I'll have an answer on that in the next couple of weeks.
So, Congresswoman, is getting rid of some student debt enough, or does it not go far enough? Does the president need to go farther?
Well, look, we're thrilled that the president is committed to canceling some student debt. And we talked to him a couple of weeks ago when the Progressive Caucus met with him in the White House. We told him this was one of our top priorities. 45 million people across the country have student debt, and it's crushing them. And so we know that the number will be somewhere between the 10,000 that he promised on the campaign trail and the 50,000 that we have been pushing for. Maybe it can be
10,000 enough?
Well, look, that's what he promised on the campaign trail. We've been pushing for 50,000. Somewhere between that is going to be the right number. And we're going to celebrate that number because it means that millions of people will get relief for their student debt. I'm still pushing for 49,999. He said it's not going to be 50, but he didn't say it's not going to be 49,999. So let's see how far we can go.
It almost sounds like Herman Cain right there with the 999 numbers.
So there you have it, you guys. Democrats' strategy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As they said, they believe they combine these two, they can get it through. And we heard about Title 42 and how that was not an option. They said just simply could not be done. Now, we're going to see what negotiations take place and if they can pass this through. And as I mentioned, now that it's midterm elections, we're going to be hearing a whole lot more about legislation, executive orders, a lot of things that they want to get through coming to the forefront as they don't have a whole lot of time. We're already in the month of May. So there's going to be a lot of news coming out on all of this, you guys, and I will keep you up to date here on the channel so that way you know what's going on. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps me out a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you like to stay up to date, don't forget, totally free to join the Ram fam. Just hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. If you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Consider joining the second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth, personal finance, more content on that channel. And with that being said, you guys, as always, once again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.